And welcome, everybody, to another edition of the Pride of the Poconos podcast. I am your host, Zach Sterniolo, joined today by Pocono Mountain West head football coach Jim McCarroll, as well as running back Jonathan St. Hilaire and quarterback Dylan Dellavalle. Guys, welcome to the podcast. And Jim, thanks for joining.
Thanks for having us, Zach. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Fair to say that this has been a pretty historic season for you guys. You ended the regular season 6-4, but most importantly, you lock up that number 7 seed, and you're heading into the District 11 Class 6A playoffs for the first time in program history. From your perspective as a coach, you've been here for all of it. How gratifying has this season been for you?
It's been a great ride. These seniors, we came into the season, and that was our expectations to get the districts. Start off a little rough, 0-4. And we told the guys, we got to win every game. You got to do one at a time now. You can't be worried about going 6-4 until you can go 1-4. And we took it slow, and we progressively got better each and every week. And you got to give a lot of credit to the guys for not giving up and sticking with it. And we got a little lucky, too. We were a little bit of injury-free for the most part. We lost some guys here and there, but for the most part, you got to be lucky sometimes and not have so many injuries, and we were this year.
Jonathan, I'll go to you here. The running game that this team has had between yourself and your teammate, Matt Mussenden, obviously, it's been so balanced. We were talking before we even started recording here. You've ran the ball 112 times for 735 yards. He's ran the ball 104 times for 749. The numbers are right there in sync with each other. How have you been able to really bounce off one another, and how has that allowed this team's offense to really grow?
I feel like the balance that Coach keeps makes us get a breeze for one series, get back in the game, get focused. We could see what kind of defense they're running, how we should go against it, and it just opened up the game for us.
Dylan, under center for you, the numbers this season have been fantastic. You went 122 for 220, 1,570 passing yards, 21 touchdowns. The numbers speak for themselves there. What has this season been like from your perspective? Obviously, I know you've connected just a ton with Khalil Edwards on the outside. What has been working for you guys offensively over this regular season?
I believe our execution has been really well. My stats mean it's just for my team. In my opinion, I don't get those stats by myself. My teammates really help me. Khalil's done a tremendous job catching the ball and getting upfield, and so have all my other receivers. My lines have been doing such a great job blocking for me and giving me the time to make the throw. John and Moose, they have been doing a great job running, which will open up the pass for me, so I give all my credit to them.
And as Coach touched on, you guys are seniors here, and in your last year here as a Panther, to get this team to this point, how special is that?
It's just a great feeling. I've been a starter for 3 years, and we've been through tough times in the past. Last year, we lost 4 games by a total, I think, of 15 points. And, we got a little taste of victory last year of winning the EPC conference, but, we wanted more. And, our goal was districts this year, and we hit it, which is just a great feeling.
Absolutely. And now, coming up on your first ever playoff district game against Stroudsburg here on Friday night. You played each other week 2, 34-12 loss. Jonathan, for you, it seemed like the Mounties defense really was able to contain the run well, and I feel like that really kind of set the tone for the rest of this game. So what can you take from that game, and what can you and Matt do in the backfield to try to get this running game going? How important is that going to be to winning this game Friday night?
I feel like my line has developed so much, and they've been working so hard. Me personally, when I went into that game against Stroudsburg, I felt like the run game worked pretty well. I felt like I seen things that I could have, taken up the field, and how me and Moose have been rotating in. I feel like that made us drive harder. As long as our line keeps doing what they're doing, we can get this ball up the field.
Coach McCarroll, for you, what do you feel like is going to be the difference come Friday night? I know defensively, the Mounties have been strong all season long, especially their front 7, but it seems like they have some weaknesses on their secondary. What do you see as the focal point come Friday?
First of all, they're a very good football team. They're 8-2. They're EPC North champs. We're going to have our hands full. We got to play almost a perfect game, and our goal is to be in it in the fourth quarter and give ourselves a shot. They're very big. They're quick. Ben Stokes does a real nice job there in the middle. We struggled with him week 2. We can't turn the ball over. We had some key turnovers. We had some key penalties after some runs. And defensively, we got to tackle. They pretty much did what they wanted to do offensively, in that first game, stretch. They ran some stretch and zone, and we struggled with that. And, they got better. I think we got better as well. So we're looking, to go down there. We got to play, pretty much a mistake-free game to be in this ball game. But, I think if we come down there, we've been playing well the last 6 weeks. And if we continue to do what we've been doing, and we've been playing pretty good football, but we need to play for 4 quarters to give ourselves a shot. And if we could do that, I think, at the end of the game, if we could be in that game, we got some playmakers that hopefully could put us over the top.
And you kind of touch on it there. You guys have been playing so well over these last six weeks. 6-game winning streak. You hear so much in sports. We talk about momentum. What kind of momentum does this team have right now heading into this playoffs?
They believe, and that's huge. When you got a team that believes that they can go out there and win, that's half the battle, is mental. But at the same time, you got to make sure you can't, throw an interception, put the ball on the ground, miss a tackle, drop a punt. There's so many things that go into it, and it's going to be a great atmosphere. We've played there many times down in Stroudsburg. They're playing great football. They're going to be jacked. First, they're ranked number 2, first District 11 playoff game down there this year, and so it's going to be a fun atmosphere. And we got to play a very good football game, and then we'll see what happens.
Jonathan, for you, as a senior running back, you start the season with so many high expectations. But then you go and start the season 0-4 with a fairly tough schedule. What were the emotions like after week 4? And was there ever a doubt that you guys would get back to where you are right now?
I feel like you have to just believe that things are going to get better. The harder you work, the more work you put in, the easier things are going to get. And after every single loss, we only had a drive to work hard and work hard. It was really important that we didn't give up on each other, we didn't give up on ourselves. And we had to keep fighting so we can get to 6-4.
Dylan, for you, we talked about your relationship with wide receiver Khalil Edwards earlier in this podcast. He's made 38 catches this season, 594 yards. 31% of your completions have gone to Khalil. What has your relationship been like with him, and how has that allowed for growth for both of you guys as players?
Like I said, he's just a tremendous athlete. Him being able, his speed, he's a really fast person. He has great hands, and it's able to make him get open. And, I'm just doing my best to get the ball to him so he can make plays. This made us grow. As last year, there was something, but, Chris Monaco, he did a nice job for me. And now Khalil has really stepped up to make it his time now.
With that, I want to kind of transition to some of the off-the-field stuff. I mean, you just got done playing a full regular season, 10 games in, but you've also got school to worry about too. As a senior, how have you been able to find that balance as both a student and an athlete, trying to make sure you're taking care of assignments on and off the field?
Being a student athlete is tough, especially when you're taking higher classes. It's like you got school, practice, and then you go home and you're studying, then you eat, and then it's kind of just a recycle of your day. So you just got to be on top of things, be organized, and you just got to make sure you have your routine down, because if something gets thrown off, it's going to hurt another subject. So you just got to stay organized.
Jonathan, for you, I mean, same boat. How have you been able to find any kind of tips or tricks that have worked for you along the way?
I feel like as long as you stay focused and you have aspirations of playing at the next level, you have to be able to manage your time. You have to know that you have to keep your grades high in order to keep doing the sport you love. You have to, stay focused on that point.
You touched on playing at that next level. Do you have goals to play once you hit the college levels, and have you been looking anywhere or committed to any place at this point?
I've been looking around, and I do have dreams of playing at the next level. I've been looking, I've been talking to schools, but I'm just waiting on that time.
Sure. Jim, for you, from your perspective, when these kids do find themselves in trouble academically, what can you as a coach do to help them get back on track?
Well, I try to stay on top of that before we get to that. I'm always looking at their grades. It's nice that I'm allowed to have access to see how they're doing academically, and if they do start to slip, I usually call them up, make a copy of what's going on, talk to the teachers, because they understand they're student athletes, they're students first, they're role models in this school, they need to be doing the right things, and we try to manage that the best we can as a staff. And these guys got to be motivated, they got to be structured, because it's it's demanding to be, an athlete, just not football and a lot of other sports, because, we're practicing till 6:30 at night. By the time they get home, could be 7:30, get something to eat and do their homework. They need to get to bed and get up again at 6:30 in the morning. So we try to beat it to the punch. We focus on, promoting, make sure they're doing their homework and staying focused in their classes. And we get a progress report every week of if there's guys ineligible, they're done for that week. And this year it's been great. I think we had maybe one guy that was close to being ineligible and not passing a class. So I got to give kudos to all these guys if we're doing the right things.
It's impressive stuff. To the point that we were making there with Jonathan, college is in a lot of these players' minds as well. What is the recruiting process like from your perspective? How can you aid these guys through that process, and what conversations do you have with scouts or other college coaches who are looking at what these players can contribute?
And I start when these guys are freshmen and when we have workouts, and I'm harping academics, because if you don't have the grades, right now the base is a 2.3, 900. And some schools that come in the door, that's not even what they want to see. They want to see 1,000 plus on SATs. If you have any expectations of playing at that next level, you have to be a good student athlete, because if you don't have the grades, they don't even want to talk to you anymore. And I tell these guys, you're going to talk to people. You never close any doors, because you never know where you're going to go. College football is a business. That's their jobs. I could think you could play at a certain level. You may think you could play at a certain level. It doesn't matter what we think. It matters what those college coaches think. So I tell my guys to be realistic. Listen to everybody, because at the end of the day, you want to go somewhere where you like the school, because you're always one play away from being done. So don't pick a school just for football, because if you blow a knee out, break a bone doing something, concussions, at the end of the day, I want to be at that school for 4 years and get a degree out of there, not just going there for football. So they got to be smart about it and understand it's a huge choice to make in their life.
Absolutely. Dylan, for you, when you also as a senior, you're I'm sure looking into different programs and kind of what's your fit. First of all, do you want to play at that next level? And secondly, how do you take in all that information and try to decide what fits the bill for you?
The process is very stressful. And I got to admit that from being an athlete. You just got to work through it. I've taken everything little by little. Right now, I'm just working on my academics, and that's what I really care about the most. I do want to play football in college, but my academics are really important to me. And, for example, like what Coach said, falling back on it, say if something didn't go right, got cut for the team for some reason, got an injury, I want to worry about my life after that.
Sure. We talk about social media a lot in this generation because there's so many distractions, positive and negative, that we can get out of it. Are you on social media at all right now? And if so, how do you try to manage it?
I do have social media accounts, but I never really use them. I'm not one to be posting stuff. I'm kind of a little bit to myself a little bit.
Is that? I'm assuming that's on purpose.
Yeah, a little bit on purpose, but the only things I'll probably ever post are probably photos of me, even from football or something like that. Just creating memories, which is just a great feeling. But I like to stay away from the drama. Definitely
understood. Jonathan, for you, same question. Are you on any social media accounts right now? And if so, how do you try to manage what you're taking in on there, but also what you're seeing or what you're allowing others to see?
Well, I'm kind of on the same boat with Dylan. I probably have an account on every social media possible, but I'm rarely on them. But if I am, I'm just checking something. I'm looking at my friends. I'm just seeing what's going on. Drama, I'm never really into that kind of stuff. I'm a focused kind of guy. I keep a strong head. Someone says something about me, I'm like, okay, well, that's not me. So,
Jim, I know how you feel about this, but I'm going to ask it anyway. What are your thoughts on social media, and how do you try to get your kids to understand the effects that it can have on their futures?
We talk from day one when we start in the beginning of the season. We talk about social media, whatever site it is. There's so many, I don't even know what they all are anymore. But the worst thing you could do is put something on there inappropriate or just taunting somebody or cyberbullying or whatever it is. You don't know what it is anymore. There's so much stuff out there these days. I want our team to focus on what we need to do in a positive manner. We don't need to say anything bad about any other team, anybody, any other person. One thing I preach to these guys all the time is to be good character individuals. Back when later in life, they're not going to worry about your wins and losses. You come back to school, they're going to remember Dylan Dellavalle or John St. Hilaire as a good individual, good person that helped people and did a nice job for our school. They're not going to worry about Dylan threw for 1,000 or John ran for 1,000 or whatever. But, we try to produce good young men coming out of our program, and that's what I'm proud about the most is a lot of these guys that come back are doing well for themselves and doing the right things.
I want to talk a little bit life outside of football and academics and all that stuff. When you're not, for you, Jim, when you're not coaching these kids up or here at West, what are you doing outside of campus, and what do you pay attention to any of the big league sports too?
Yeah, I am here a lot, though. There's not a lot of time. We'll take, once the season's over, we'll take a month off, and I'm going down with my son to see an LSU game over Thanksgiving, and hopefully get to see a Notre Dame game here coming up. They're doing pretty well, but yeah, I follow sports. I was an athlete. I love athletics, and I got 3 children. I like to do stuff with them, and my wife's in the theater and the art, so we'll go do some stuff and maybe hit a play up in New York, but it's just nice to relax, for a little bit, and then after Thanksgiving, maybe early December, we get back and get in the weight room and start going at it again because, a lot of kids here at West will play multiple sports. So, but the kids that don't, we got to be bigger, stronger, faster each and every year because the teams we go against, we don't have the numbers. So we got to make sure we're preparing to play 4 quarters. And right now, these guys got to understand they got to hit the weight room. They got to do the right things. So we're ready to go next year. And it's almost a year-long thing for us. But, we promote guys playing more than one thing. And we want them to be athletes and want them to go out and compete, even in other things. So when we get them, they understand what it is to compete. So, but there's some stuff after football, but not a lot.
Jonathan, for you, what are you paying attention to when you're not on the football field? I know what you're doing in the spring, but again, any favorite sports teams for you?
Yeah, I'm a Broncos fan. I follow the Seahawks. I like things of that nature. Basketball, I'll give it a look or two, but I'm not really into watching it. I'm gonna try and play it in this coming winter. I'm gonna try out for that. But there's really not much life for me outside of football or track or maybe even basketball if I make that team. If I'm not there, like Coach said, I'll be in the weight room, working on my off season, trying to get stronger for my next season. It's all tying into the same place. If I get brolic in football, I'll get toned down and faster in track. It just works out for me.
Absolutely. Now, have you tried out for the basketball team in the past, or is this your first year going out for it?
It's going to be my first year going out for it. I'm just going to see where it takes me.
What convinced you to go for it? I know Rich Williams has taken over the program this year as its head coach. A lot of really, that coaching staff is bringing a lot of talent. What convinced you to join the team?
Well, I was like, I don't got nothing to do. This is my senior year. Why not? This is senior year. I can go out, try it. If they don't need me, that's fine. I'll just get back to my off season, keep doing what I'm doing.
Absolutely. And then plenty of stuff coming up with track as well.
Oh, yeah. I'm trying to tie together my 4x1. We lost Isaiah Wiggins and Chris Monaco. I'm going to bring in Maurice Whittle. I'm going to also try and find a 4th leg to run so I can make sure we get back to states.
Absolutely. Dylan, for you, what sports are you paying attention to outside of the Pocono West Panthers here, and what are you planning on doing over this upcoming off season?
I'm not a big follower of sports, but I always love watching games and checking in, especially college football. That's got to be my favorite. I actually like it more than the NFL.
I've heard that a lot from a lot of people.
Yeah, I just find college athletes just so exciting to see, just the crowds, and they want to get to that next level. To the NFL, and you could really see how hard they try, and that's why I love watching college football. But outside, other than being here at Pocono Mountain West, I just love training. I'm into fitness. I'm usually at the gym every day. I love taking care of my body, eating healthy, and that's I'm going to get back into after the season. Was
there any turning point that really drew you into the fitness world?
Yes. After my junior year, I needed to realize that I needed to put on more size for football. So I did not play. I also play baseball, by the way, but I did not play baseball my junior year because I wanted to focus on getting big and ready for football. And after a couple months went by, I saw a lot of progress, And, it's just a great feeling. For me, I love having goals to hit because I'm a very competitive person. So I like being able to achieve things, and, getting results is just a great thing. And then another thing that helped me put on size was eating right. I've talked to a couple of trainers, and I got on a food plan where they scheduled, I have to eat like certain meals at certain times. Like I had to eat, I think, like 5 meals a day. It had to be like 40 grams of protein, 60 grams of carbs, 32 grams of fat.
It's down to a science.
Yeah, it really is. And I would do that every day, and it helped me put on 20, 30 pounds.
Wow.
So I would say more like 20. But, I just saw a lot of progress, and, my body started feeling good. I like the way I looked, and, it's just a great feeling.
Are you planning on coming back to baseball this spring? Or are you gonna...
Yes. For my senior year, I definitely want to come back. I just love playing sports.
Sure.
I like baseball. I don't like watching it that much. I like playing it.
I'm kind of in the same boat there. I love going to a game. Can't sit there and watch 9 innings on TV anymore.
Yep.
That is all we've got for today's episode. Be sure to tune in next Wednesday for another edition of our football picks to see if Mike Coons or I can go 10-0, or if Sean Suchy is going to wipe the floor with us one more time. To find all of our links, you can find us on Twitter at Pocono Podcast. This podcast can be found on YouTube, iTunes, SoundCloud, Stitcher, and Google Play. Be sure to like, subscribe, or comment wherever and however you're listening, because we want to hear from you, our listeners, and see what you have to say. And if you subscribe, you'll never miss any of our newest episodes. This podcast has been brought to you by PoconoRecord.com/contests. Last year, we gave away over $20,000 in prizes, so be sure to visit often to see what we're giving away next. Again, that's PoconoRecord.com/contests. That's all we've got today. Thanks for listening, and until next time, take care.